Washington's in chaos. President Trump just demanded an investigation into Nancy Pelosi's stock trading, calling it disgraceful and exposing how she has the highest return in the history of Wall Street. Now watch what happened when CNN confronted her.
Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider.
Nancy Pelosi became rich.
I'm not into it. My husband is. But it gets worse. The House Ethics Committee just released a 23-page report with substantial evidence that Congressman Mike Kelly used insider information. Debbie Wasserman Schultz made 232% on military contracts that she helped approve. They're all doing it. And now Ross Givens returns with explosive evidence that the Congressional insider trading scandal is worse than ever. Now, his members have made gains up 1,900% by legally tracking these corrupt trades. Ross, welcome back to expose this trading frenzy.
Good to see you, Gary. Always a fun topic. Nothing better than seeing Pelosi stumble her way around a camera.
Oh, I know, and she wouldn't even name the bill the Pelosi Act, but Trump just called out Pelosi, right? He called her out, saying that she has the highest returns in Wall Street history. I want to play the clip, but first, how bad are her trading patterns compared to other politicians?
It's really bad. I mean, this problem, listen, it's all across D.C. It's an open secret on Capitol Hill. They're all doing this kind of stuff. I can name you a dozen other politicians who also had record-breaking years that beat the hedge funds. But Pelosi does it the most egregiously and has been doing it the longest. From 2008 up until last year, she's made an estimated $280 million on these stock trades. Big, heavily concentrated bets, often with leverage on stocks that are about to be affected on legislation that she and other members of Congress pass. And I can give you plenty of examples.
Let's first show the clip of Trump demanding the investigation.
Conceptually, I like it conceptually. And, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened. So I'll take a look at it. But conceptually, I like it. And what I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few. How did that happen? It happened by she knows exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be announced. She buys stock, and then the stock goes up after the announcement's made. And she ought to be investigated.
Wow. So, Ross, as someone who's tracked Pelosi for years, what would investigators find?
Well, first of all, I'd like to volunteer myself on this investigation. So just as our patriot Elon Musk volunteered his time for Doge, I'd gladly volunteer my time for this. But yeah, what they're going to find is a long history of large concentrated bets that she knew were going to pay off. So a couple examples. 2021. She put $5 million in Microsoft stock 2 weeks before the Army announced a $22 billion contract with them. Later that year, she put $1 million in Tesla stock just weeks before her buddy President Biden signed an executive order mandating the entire federal fleet go electric, all 169,000 vehicles.
Wow.
The CHIPS Act of 2022, which gave $54 billion in subsidies to Nvidia and the other semiconductor stocks that she, of course, had a large part in writing, getting passed, campaigning for this thing. She just so happened, Gary, to put $5 million in Nvidia a week before this thing passed. She put the $5 million not just in the stock, but in stock options, which are a leveraged all or nothing, not going to do it unless you're pretty damn sure type bet.
Wow.
There's dozens of others of these. And when she's making $2, $3, $5, $10 million a clip, and she's been doing it with essentially immunity for 17 years, she's going to keep doing it. I'm sorry.
No, she fumbled on CNN. She blamed her husband. I mean, does that deflection strategy protect her legally while they both profit?
Well, I don't think she cares at this point. I mean, listen, she what does she title her book? The Halls of Power, I mean, it's like a picture of her in the White House. She feels untouchable. And frankly, she is untouchable. You got President Trump, the most powerful man on earth, saying, I know she's doing it. She's made millions. This is disgusting. And she will not get so much as a fine. So when the people that make the rules are the ones breaking them, it is very difficult to set something up that prosecutes and makes it stop.
Well, the act is called the Pelosi Act.
Yeah, it is, and it's hilarious. She didn't use that term. She said that the stock that bans you're stumbling around. Yeah, it stands for preventing elected leaders from owning securities and investments, which is a very, very fitting name for this.
I don't know how they come up with these titles to make it work so perfectly, but I mean, imagine going on CNN and being confronted with a bill that's named after you to stop you from what you're doing, clearly profiting off of inside information. And speaking of which, we've got this House Ethics Committee dropping a bombshell report on Mike Kelly while clearing him of insider trading. Investigators found his conduct around his wife's stock trades in steel giant Cleveland-Cliffs violated the code of official conduct. The report slams Kelly for failing to show candor, delaying disclosures, and ignoring conflicts of interest warnings, even as his wife pocketed $64,000 in profit from well-timed trades tied to his official work. The committee formally reproves Kelly, orders him to divest from Cleveland-Cliffs, and demands he pay overdue Stock Act late fees, and it warns his actions created a dangerous appearance of self-dealing that undermines public faith in government. There's a full 28-page report we just posted to X on our account. So, how damning is this evidence?
This is as bad as it gets. They caught him red-handed. And to summarize that, if you guys don't do this every day like I do, they caught him red-handed after a 5-year investigation, unequivocal evidence that he traded on inside information. And his penalty is you have to sell the stock that you've already tripled your money on, and you have late fees on the Stock Act. It's a $200 fine. Right.
Oh, come on.
It's crazy. And listen, there are hundreds of millions of dollars of regular people's money tracking this stuff. That's how obvious it is. There are both automated bots that will automatically buy these stocks when politicians like Pelosi buy. There is an exchange traded fund anybody can buy that tracks every stock. When a Democratic lawmaker buys a stock, it buys it. You know what the stock ticker is? NANC. I can't make this stuff up. But look, and we've been doing this for years. I mean, you know this. We've been doing this since 2017. All we do is track these insider trades. We've beat the stock market every single year for our members, and all we're doing is following along. When we see politicians all suddenly buying big into a stock, when we see corporate insiders like CEOs and CFOs all suddenly buying their stock, we follow along. And when you got Pelosi here making $180K a year worth $300 million, clearly it's working. No sense, rewriting the strategy. Just follow along. So we do this for our members. We actually have a free training event. We have one coming up this Thursday, actually. It's August the 28th, 3 Eastern. It's online. It's totally free. If anybody wants to learn how to do this stuff, how to see these trades, how to follow along to Pelosi and the others, click that link, sign up. We'll show you how to do everything.
The link's down in the description for anybody that wants to take part. Let's talk about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I can't stand this politician. She's one of the worst of them. And let me just get this shot up here for us. She's definitely one of the worst. And I got this post here. This is from... It says, breaking, this is exactly why we track politicians. If you follow Debbie Schultz's notable VSAT buy, you would now be up 232%. This trade was flagged back in November. in 2024 for three reasons. So break down Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I mean, just the stuff that she's been involved in, I can't stand it. So she's in on the rigged game too. Break this down.
Yeah, she does what they all do, right? I mean, she's on the Military Construction Committee or Appropriations Committee, something like that. So she knows where the contracts are going. She's the one that chooses who gets these contracts. They find these stocks. You see that thing had been beaten up. It's down from $25 to $6-7 a share. She knows they're about to release this good news. She gets in down there. The thing's up 232%. Just since she bought it in November. It is now August. That's 9 months. She's tripled her money and then some. Now she's buying stock in Stratasys, SSYS, this little tiny off-the-radar 3D printing company. But this is what they do. They get in front of information they know is going to push the stock. They buy it up early, assuming they're not going to get in trouble because, of course, they don't. And then they ride the thing higher. I mean, we saw Cindy Axne and her husband were buying up Wells Fargo. She was on the committee investigating Wells Fargo.
Oh, my God.
Right? I mean, you've got, who was it? One of them was buying, Catherine Clark. She bought stock in HoloLogic 1 week before her committee awarded them a $120 million COVID testing contract.
Oh, my goodness.
They're sitting there going, all right, who are we going to give this to? How much is it? Okay, wait. Before we tell anybody, hey, broker, give me a couple. I mean, I would do the same thing if I knew. I'm no saint, Gary, but I'm not an elected member of Congress.
What blows my mind, Ross, is that we so often talk about Pelosi because she's the most high-profile figure. But, people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they kind of go under the radar, and these other Congress people you're talking about go under the radar. No one's paying attention, but you guys are, and you're teaching people how to track them.
Yeah, and listen, it used to make me really angry. Even watching this is upsetting you. I'm not trying to upset anybody. The reason I laugh about it doesn't bother me so much is that, two things. One, they're not hurting anybody. It's disgusting. It's unethical, but they're not stealing tax dollars like the scumbags with the NGO networks. And secondly, most importantly, I'm following along. And I promise you, when Pelosi makes $5 million on Nvidia, it is not going to make you near as angry if you just made $50,000 following along. So that's what we try to do. Show people how to track this stuff. It's like, look, you're not going to beat them. Pelosi's been doing it forever. I mean, this Mike Kelly investigation, Gary, I've been waiting on this for years. I'm like, for them to actually investigate one of their own, a full multi-year House Ethics Committee investigation. They've got emails. They've got text messages. They interviewed the man's broker. They have him dead to rights. This little steel plant in his district was in trouble during COVID. He calls the president. He calls members of Congress, gets them to put tariffs on foreign steel to protect this company, which, hey, pro-America, no problem. But what he did is as soon as he found out it was going to work and the Commerce Department was going to put the tariffs on, and they told the CEO, his wife went out and bought thousands of shares of the stock of Cleveland Cliffs. It went up 279% of the next 9 months. Once they found out they're being investigated, then she sold the stock after they've tripled, quadrupled their money. But the evidence is so damning. They interviewed their stockbroker, right? And this guy says, and you can read it in this report, it's all public. He says, listen, we've been managing their money for years. We handle all the investment decisions. This trade in Cleveland Cliffs was a true outlier. Number one, it was the first stock she's called us to buy specifically in over a year. It's a stock we don't even offer to our clients. We had to go out and find it. It was just like all these red flags that happens within 24 hours of finding out about the tariff situation. She buys the stock up, and that they have them dead to rights. And then, as you saw, the final recommendation was we think he should divest from the stock, i.e. sell, which he's already done when he tripled his money, and then pay the late fees and the $200 fine. Like, if
he's like, yeah, no worries, I made all this money. What's $200 late fee?
Imagine Pelosi. She made like $3 or $4 million her last Nvidia trade. And it's all relative. Some people are going to say, $60,000, it's not that big of a deal. Well, it is. Somebody makes $100,000 a year, right? To Pelosi, it's $2 million, $4 million, whatever. But it's not going to stop. And if you can't beat them, join them, right? So I think this is the biggest loophole you have as an everyday investor. Follow people who know more, whether that's a politician like Pelosi or Schultz or Kelly, or whether it's a CEO or a CFO or a vice president. And, with the news we have now, when they're going to get a big government contract, or when they're releasing some new AI model or some great drug trial, they've cured cancer. And what do you know, 2 weeks before, half the board and the VP and the CFO and a VP, they've all been buying it up. Like, it's very, very obvious, usually. So that's what we show people in these events. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say there's no loss in it. It's going to work 100% of the time. It doesn't exist. But it's kind of like a heads you win, tails you don't lose situation, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you've got this stock and half the top executives are putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into it all at once out of nowhere, probably not going to do that before they report bad news, right? Like, at the very least, things are probably fine. And on the upside, things might be very, very fine and shoot higher. So anyway, that's what we'll show people to do. Click that link, sign up. It's free. I'll show you all the tricks.
Now let's talk about QuiverQuant shows Congress beating the market by 3x. I mean, Is this statistically possible without insider information?
0%. Yeah, no. And listen, they're not even trying hard. Like, that QuiverQuant strategy, that's just over the last 5 years. And all they do is, look, a Congress member's buying, we're going to buy. They're selling, we're going to sell. That is all they do. Stock market since 2020 today is up about 120%. That strategy's up over 400%. So your retirement account could be at $1 million, or it could be at $5 million. Just from following the stock trades of Congress. I mean, it's comical. But yeah, it absolutely works. And that's following all of them. What if you just follow the Pelosi's and the best ones?
Well, so you've identified politicians currently making suspicious trades. Yes. I mean, what are the basic patterns that you track?
So generally what we look for are true outliers. So when it comes to politicians, you want to see stocks they're buying either like Kelly, where that company is based in their district and they're going to know the CEO and there's campaign contributions to back up, et cetera. Or it's something like happened with Schultz, like, this is a military contractor stock, a small, off-the-radar one no one's ever heard of. Seems like an odd stock for you to be buying. Oh, what do you know? You sit on the military appropriations committee, right? It's just very obvious. With the corporate insiders, we just want to see two things. We want to see, or three things really. We want to see big cluster buying. So we want to see 4, 5, 6, 7 executives buying. We want to see the buying to be rare. We want it situations where, hey, no one over here at this company's bought this stock in like 5 years. 8 of them bought last week. What's up? And then we want to see people that have a good track record, right? If Pelosi buys or Tuberville buys, I'm following Pelosi. She has a long track record of doing this. So if I've got a CEO that, hey, the last 4 times this guy bought this stock, it doubled, I'm going to follow him on the 5th, right? I mean, none of this stuff is like revolutionary. It's none of it's overly. It takes some work to find the information, which is why we have these training events. But we're just looking for stuff if I would lay it out for you, anybody in their right mind would go, oh yeah, they probably know something. Right? So that's really, I swear to God, it's our entire investment strategy, and we've beat the market we're up 1,900% since 2017. Wow. I'm not that good.
Now, let's talk about the Stock Act, because it was supposed to stop this. Now, why is congressional insider trading it's worse than ever?
Well, the Stock Act is a lot like every other act Congress passes. The name usually doesn't reflect what it does. I mean, what was that Inflation Reduction Act? And it was full of spending and money printing. Like, it's comical. The Stock Act didn't actually prevent them from insider trading. It just put requirements on there to report their trades, which creates the illusion that it's now being tracked. And I'll show people where these sites are in this training event like we're having. But all it says is, hey, when you buy a stock, you need to disclose it within 30 days. If they don't, like one guy, who's the super mega rich Republican, I forget his name now, but he just reported a bunch of trades that were 2 years old. And if they violate the Stock Act, it's a $200 fine. So basically, they said, "Oh, you want an insider trade? That'll be $200." Like, sure, no problem.
Wait, he waited 2 years?
Yeah, he just reported a bunch of trades. Said, "Oh, I forgot to report these," and it's like $16 million worth of stock trades from 2 years ago.
Wow.
So they don't take it seriously. I mean, these guys will file stuff, but then there's all kinds of situation. Oh, I didn't know my wife bought that, or I forgot to include that, which is why that most of the proposals are you guys should put your money into a blind trust, something you have no impact over. They should just be stuck in index funds. They should just be, hey, if the U.S. stock market goes up, you profit. If the U.S. stock market goes down, you lose money. Let's try to align some incentives here. But yeah, it doesn't do anything.
Now, Trump's calling for investigations. Will anything actually change, or will they always find loopholes?
We just have the proof of that. I mean, we have a 23-page House Ethics Committee investigation. They found him cold, dead to rights. They got him. They're not doing anything about it. He's not removed from his seat. He's not being fined. They're not going to do anything. Listen, if anyone could get this done, it's Trump. Could he do it? Yes. If he does it, it's going to be year 4 of his term. This guy's got a big agenda. He's got a lot he wants to get done. He's trying to create world peace and do all kinds of huge things that are, frankly, far more important than banning 435 people from making timely stock trades. I think it would burn up a lot of his political capital, but I don't see this stopping anytime soon. If you did, I think you nailed it. They'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, in his own quote that we played, he sounded, we'll look into it. He didn't sound like he was gung-ho about it, because he knows, yes, he will burn a lot of bridges that he needs to pass his agenda, which is just, quite frankly, on fire right now. I mean, the fact that he met with Putin in Alaska, and within 48 hours, he's got Zelensky and like every single European world leader at the White House, and they're all sitting outside the Oval Office waiting to go in. Like,
principal.
Yeah, like he's the principal, it was the craziest picture. But it just shows like who's the freaking boss, and it's exciting to see. So there's a lot of political capital on the line here if he tries to go after these folks.
Right, you don't want him to slow down, right? Don't slow down what you're doing. Like to go after, it's kind of like the Democrats who go, these billionaires don't pay their fair share. Like, okay, even if that were true, I get it. You don't like Musk and you don't like a handful of these very wealthy guys. Let's not screw over the other 300 million of us so you can go after the 2 you don't like, right? I don't like Pelosi any more than you do, but I don't want to slow down America's trajectory to get her and 3 other people, Yeah.
I mean, they'll bury themselves other ways, too. Take a look at what's happening with Kash Patel, what they found in those burn bags, with Tulsi Gabbard, what she's been declassifying. This whole administration is just cleaning house, and if we can just get some of those actors out of the deep state, we're going to be in a much better position as a republic. And then, they can address these stock things. But your members have made up to 1,900% following these trades. How can everyday Americans actually legally profit from congressional corruption?
Well, listen, you're paying the salaries of the members of Congress. I think at the very least you should get privy if they're about to, cheat the stock market. At least they could do is share their information with you. And so that's what we show people how to do, follow their trades, see when they're buying. And there's a handful of telltale markers that we usually see in stocks when the people are buying them for a reason, right? If they're just buying some shares in Apple, or they're buying some Google or these household names, they could just be added to their portfolio. But if they're buying this little $2 military contractor, this little $3 a share off the radar biotech company that happens to be based in their district, whose CEO happens to be a campaign donor, and 7 other members of it's just very obvious. So join me Thursday. It's August 28th, 3 Eastern, link below. In fact, even if you can't come, click that link. I'm going to send you all the research on our most recent picks. So that way you guys can see what's available to you. I think it's very eye-opening. We'll try to make you richer and more profitable and give you a big edge like Pelosi and the others have.
Ross, it's always great to have you on the Next News Network with all these revelations and, of course, giving our viewers some inside information of their own on how they can take advantage of Pelosi's corruption.
Absolutely. Well, Gary, thanks for having me, man. And listen, what you do is so very beneficial to the American people and the public. We all know how bad the media is, but, man, you've been doing such an incredible job of covering these news articles and covering what's happening in the unraveling of the deep state. It's been fantastic to watch. So please keep it up, man. Love it.
All right, Ross. Thank you so much for that. Now, what Ross Givens has exposed today should trigger immediate criminal investigations. Trump's demand to investigate Pelosi is only the beginning. The entire Congress is running an insider trading ring that makes Wall Street look honest. From Pelosi's impossible returns to Kelly's ethics violations to Schultz's 232% military contract gains, the evidence is overwhelming. They are not even trying to hide it anymore because they know the system protects them while crushing you. Congress beats the market by 300% using your tax dollars to fund their insider information. The Stock Act is a joke. The ethics committees are toothless. The only justice is turning their corruption into your opportunity. So visit networkofinsiders.com for Ross's free August 28th training. Learn to legally track and profit from the same trades making politicians rich. If they won't stop the corruption, at least protect yourself from being its victim.